The Fedsurrection. We got the details, and it's getting worse for everybody. We love it. Economics lesson from DoorDash. What? And Breaking Bad creator rants and complains about AI. He ain't happy. Welcome to the Jay Sheldon Show. Happy Tuesday. It is indeed a Tuesday, second day of the week. Welcome in, everybody. And great and glad you are here. Thank you for popping by. Whether you're watching us live on X and Rumble, or perhaps you're watching us on VOD, just clicking on the recorded show later on. Or maybe you are listening to our podcast. Yep. We are on all the podcast platforms, iTunes, Spotify, whatever it is. Wherever you get your podcasts, we're likely there. Just search out The Jay Sheldon Show. And that way, if you want, you're in your car, you want to listen to just the audio part of the show, you can do that. And just subscribe over there. Give us a like and a comment or a compliment. We appreciate it. That's on all the podcast platforms, the audio part of our show. Danny, good morning to you. How is your mood today? Hope you're doing better. So far, I'm doing okay. The stream looks all right. It's a little burned out, I think, but in general, it seems like it's okay. So we will cross ourselves and pray that everything keeps going in a good direction. But we do have a lot of news. We got a lot going on here, lots to talk about. And wow, the Fedsurrection evidence now, January 6th was a Fedsurrection. There is no doubt about it. And you cannot ignore the details. After the initial shock wore off, it became really clear to a lot of us that something odd was going on behind the January 6, 2021 Capitol Complex breach. Things were just a little too pat, a little too cut and dry. Narratives set, eagerly parroted by the media. Immediately, the media started saying exactly what the government was saying, so you know right away something is wrong with this scene. Buses filled with non-MAGA people, reported and verified by congressional reps. Bombs found at the Democrat National Committee and later at a club near the RNC. Impeachment talk was all the rage. And suddenly, questioning the obviously hinky 2020 election was a criminal act. It was threatening democracy. Trump must go to jail. That's what the left said. And then they went about actually trying to make that happen. Hollywood producer under contract to produce Congress's January 6th, the movie. The word insurrection very quickly became affixed to all kinds of news stories. No one knew what really happened. President Trump's slow response and getting people to go home was seen as an admission of something nefarious. His words spoken at the ellipse, clipped, taken out of context. All exculpatory words he spoke, mysteriously, completely left out of the discussion. They just simply edited it out. And the fix is still in, folks. Sunday, 2 days ago, two executives at the BBC, we covered this, I showed you the clips, resigned in disgrace after the popular British news program Panorama caught making edits in Trump's speech. Made him sound like he was encouraging a run on the Capitol. Now many someones actually, flooded the zone with quickly buttoned up narratives that didn't fit with anything that happened on the right before. It looked like an Antifa free-for-all, if you will. We'd seen this hundreds of times before. It was nothing new to those who had their eyes open. This time, though we were led to believe that Antifa had miraculously missed their first riot in years. However, we know better. A post from Andy No, great news guy over on X. New York City Antifa member Talia Jane Ben Ora at January 6th in a MAGA costume. And by the way, that day, she was never charged with any crimes. 4 people, all MAGA supporters, died that day. Ashley Babbitt, shot to death. Roseanne Boylan, overcome by chemical spray and, according to witnesses, beaten by a female police officer as she lay unconscious on the ground. 2 other men, overcome by the chemicals and the pepper spray, eagerly shot into the crowd by police, suffered a stroke and a heart attack. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick died the next day of a stroke. And the media, congressional leaders, all of them lied to our faces about it. And if all that wasn't your red pill moment, well, you might want to sit down, because you may go from red to black pill by the end of this story. A flood of new information has come out in just the last few days, just the last week or less, thanks in part to the Blaze, but also other sources have been parsing video evidence from January 6th for years, folks. Have you been watching? Have you been awake? Have you been paying attention? Both have taken their findings to the DOJ, haven't made the information public, although the Blaze has now published most of the details. Now it is believed the person who planted the apparent dummy pipe bombs outside the DNC and near the RNC is a former Capitol police officer and possibly a current CIA employee. Gee, why would a Capitol police officer be planting dummy bombs that were miraculously found just moments before the timer would go off? At the time, Congress was set to confirm the Electoral College votes. Odd, don't you think? Just a little bit. The effort waylaid any audit Senator Ted Cruz was set to request. Publication reported that former officer Shawnee Kirchhoff produced a 94% match to gate with a computer program. We told you about that. She's also a former professional soccer player. Got a career-ending injury. Surgery left her with a permanent mild limp, which, oddly enough, showed up in the January 6th bomber video the FBI released. She appeared to be a suspect very early on, but for whatever reasons, that investigation into that J6 pipe bomber case went absolutely cold for years, until the Trump administration finally dug into it. Now, the Blaze reports former whistleblower for the FBI, Kyle Seraphin, realized Friday he was doing surveillance next door to the woman now suspected of being the pipe bomber. This is a quote from him. "The FBI puts us one door away from the pipe bomber within days of January 6th, and we were deliberately pulled away for no logical or logically investigative reason. Everything about that tells me they were involved in a cover-up and have been since day one." That's Kyle Seraphin. January 6th, Pelosi admitted to her daughter, who is the documentary filmmaker, following her mother around that day, she should have been more had more security at the Capitol. She turned down the National Guard, which Donald Trump had requested, and she said no. Pelosi's friend Aaron Black worked with Lisa Fidian for Occupy Wall Street. Yet another leftist information operation alleged to have been photographed at the Capitol on January 6th. And after the protesters and the rioters were all chased out of the Capitol, Pelosi called for Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund's resignation, claiming he never spoke to her about the issues that day. He claims he spoke to her 3 times before the breach. It could be said that Pelosi was setting him and everybody else up for her infamous wrap-up smear. The objective, of course, was to put Donald Trump in prison and to make him and all of our little MAGA group radioactive forever. Trump announced for the 2024 election, and within weeks, the Get Trump Lawfare program began. The more the details come out about this case and this mess, the more you just shudder at the, I was going to say reality, but the surreality of it all. It's insane. Unbelievable. And the details just keep making it worse and worse and worse. It ain't getting better, that's for damn sure. And Kash Patel, he's under the big test. Oh, man. You know, I had such hopes for Kash Patel. And sadly, the more I see, the more I read, I don't know. Something ain't right, friends. Something ain't right. How he handles this January 6th pipe bomb suspect is going to be a massive test for Kash. Some of us are becoming very bitterly disappointed in this man's performance. We had very high hopes when he got appointed, and now we have an objective case by which I think we can legit judge this guy. Seems that citizen sleuths were able to do what the vaunted FBI investigators weren't or were unwilling to do after nearly 5 years of work, millions of dollars spent, and 0 results. Identifying this individual who planted these pipe bombs. A lot of us on the right, we've been supporting President Trump's agenda, myself, of course, included, obviously. We suspected right from the start that this pipe bomb suspect was government, and that his or her goals was a distraction on January 6th. Would divert police attention during the giant deep state influence operation, was the January 6th insurrection. Alternatively, the purpose of the deep state plotters was surmised it may have been to detonate the bombs and subsequently blame it on the right-wing MAGA types, you and I. If the deep state's Capitol insurrection didn't quite go as planned, that may very well have been Plan B, which thankfully they didn't need to turn to. Another 4 years. FBI still hadn't identified any suspects. Ample video footage. Perpetrator, probably the most heavily surveilled parts of the town in the world. Cameras hanging from practically every building, every lamp post. even though the suspect apparently was using a cell phone during this pipe bomb planting operation. U.S. intelligence services, probably the most capable trackers, they've got all the technology to do that. They certainly used it on the people around the geofenced Capitol. Couldn't find this person. Despite the fact, like I said, the FBI managed to identify and round up, charge over 1,000 patriotic Americans, couldn't find one little person alone on the streets at night. Make any sense? None. The FBI couldn't identify, couldn't arrest the bomber? Or was this a little bit of willful incompetence? What do you think? The FBI tanked their own investigation because they knew the bomber was one of their own deep state players? They didn't want to uncover who this person was, obviously. The technology is there. Thanks to Steve Baker at the Blaze, now we have an identification. If you were to craft a fictional character taking part in a deep state conspiracy to undermine the major political party whose mission was to take down the deep state, you just don't get any more clear than this one. Ms. Kirchhoff had been a standout athlete, a scholar in college, top soccer player, then got a severe leg injury during a game. She was out of it. Recuperated, played for a short time, and then entered a park ranger program and then the Capitol Police in 2018. Following her mission complete assignment, January 6, 2021, she was hired by the CIA to work in a security role later in 2021. Make you go, She took part in this rather interesting public service announcement, promoting something called It's On Us. Do we have a copy of that? We do. This actually is that woman. Take a look. Oh, come on. Where are we going here? Here we go.
I'm Shawnee, and it's on us to stop sexual assault. I took the pledge, and you can too, at itsonus.org. It's on us to change the way we talk about women. I'm Shawnee Kirchhoff, and it's on us to stop sexual assault.
That's her, in the flesh. Some public service announcement promoting something called It's On Us, which, according to Wikipedia, of course, run by the CIA, is a social movement, this is what they've written, created by Barack Obama and the White House Council on Women and Girls to raise awareness and fight against sexual assault on United States college campuses for both men and women. Okay, it screams woke. Now that the big job of identifying her has been achieved completely thanks to civilian sleuths, having nothing to do with the FBI, the CIA, DOJ, anybody in government. Thanks, no thanks. It is now going to be the job of the FBI to pick up the ball and determine everybody, every last person involved in this conspiracy. And make no mistake, her identification, assuming it's accurate, the identification of all those directly working with her, you just can't discount how important that is. to this country as a viable republic. This was an operation done by the government, folks. I'm not overstating this. This is scary stuff. It was all part of a whole lot bigger plot by the Democratic Party. Embedded infrastructure in the federal government, generally referred to as the deep state, to cripple the opposition's party leader and his entire movement. This is a huge deal, much bigger than most people think. This is seriously big-time stuff. And all of this, sadly, is going to come down to one man, Kash Patel. It is absolutely incumbent on Director Patel to get this FBI to interrogate Ms. Kirchhoff, identify all of her co-conspirators. She knows the names. Analyze her electronic devices, those of her fellow collaborators. All of this can be done. It's like FBI 101, folks. You've got to determine just how high up the chain of command this knowledge of what she was up to went. This, like I says, is an acid test for Kash Patel and his integrity, and whether or not he has any. So far, sadly, he has been incredibly quiet about the whole thing. And, you know, while it's Kash's place, Dan Bongino, come on, Dan. Seriously? Look, I know you've got to wait for the director. You are simply the deputy director. But this case was something that you had as a part of your show when you were on the air here on Rumble forever, since the moment it happened. You made many vows to get to the bottom of this. I know your position in life has changed, but seriously, Mr. Bongino, deputy director, it's time to step up? I would think so, if you're able. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, because like I said, Kash is the director. He is simply the deputy director. But I know this thing has got to be sticking in Dan Bongino's craw like nothing else, because this was a biggie for him. So, we will see. We will see. An Adam Schiff indictment? Come on. How long have we waited? I'm going to make you wait 60 seconds to tell you about Patriot Mobile.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
PatriotMobile.com/J. That will get you a free month when you sign up using our link. It is really just that simple, folks, and nothing really that you notice will change. You use your same number, you use your same phone. You can upgrade if you want to. You don't have to. And they will put you in a plan that will, in a lot of cases, save you money. If you are currently under contract, head over to PatriotMobile.com/J, J-A-Y, and check it out, because they have plans that will help you get out of those contracts. Seriously, deal with their customer service based 100% in the U.S. Fantastic people that are there to help, not to sell you some plan you don't need or can't afford. PatriotMobile.com/J and get signed up today. Do it. Do it. All right. The Senate is bracing for Adam Schiff's indictment. Oh, yes. This little pencil-nosed bobblehead doll. As you know, the California senator, former impeachment manager, relentlessly pursuing Trump under false pretenses, faces a huge federal indictment for mortgage fraud. What? Yes, mortgage fraud. The allegation's quite serious, actually. Department of Justice investigating whether Schiff falsified bank documents and property records to fraudulently secure favorable mortgage terms on his Maryland home, while he claimed a California condo was his residence during his 2023 Senate campaign. Oops. The Federal Housing Finance Agency referred this case to the DOJ earlier this year, discovered evidence suggesting Schiff lied on his loan applications. Really? Schiff lying? No. Potential charges? Fraud, bank fraud, submitting false financial statements. These are felonies, not paperwork errors. Schiff, of course, denies everything. He's established a legal defense fund, assembled a heavyweight legal team, including U.S. former attorney Preet Bharara, whom Trump fired in 2017 for refusing to resign. Resign. No, I won't. You're fired. According to Politico, Schiff's war chest has $8.6 million in it. $2 million just raised last quarter. Who is giving money to this slime ball? What? And the Democrats apparently are panicking. As well they should. Blumenthal, an idiot from Connecticut, claims he's spoken to Republicans who are disquieted, if not dismayed, his words, by the increasing weaponization of the Department of Justice, which no one actually believes that. Blumenthal warned that prosecuting Schiff would, quote, tear down the law that protects them and all Americans, end quote. Thanks, Blumenthal. You lied about your service to the country, so not much is really coming out of your mouth that anybody's going to believe anyway. We did indeed say happy Veterans Day, Danny. Thank you to all of our troops. Indeed, you are exactly right. I mean, it's a little belated, but happy Veterans Day. Luke's got a Veterans Day concert tonight. Wow, cool beans. Nice. All right, and thank you for, I'll say it again, happy Veterans Day to all those who served. We appreciate you folks more than you will ever likely know. All right, Schiff's in trouble. The Democrats are pulling their hair out by the weeds, and we're loving every minute of it. That's the bottom line. Idiots. Fine. What else? Oh, yeah. This is a cool story. Do you have DoorDash where you live? I don't. We have things called Food Panda and Grab here, which is basically the same thing. Grab, although not just delivers food, you can order online and you get your food. They also have groceries from supermarkets, and they've got like delivery of items. You got a box you need to get from your one office to the other or your home to the office. They can do that too. Anyway, we do have a company called DoorDash here in America. Most people know what it is, even if you don't have it where you live. But did you ever think you would get an economic update from DoorDash? Well, they got some big news. If you're a fan of food delivery services like Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash, then you've probably heard of DoorDash. You order online from your phone from these companies, and voila, you've got your Meal from a favorite restaurant delivered right to your door. Ain't that amazing? It all started during the COVID days. And then it became so popular, these companies just continued. Now, you would not necessarily think of them as being the experts for information about the economy. But then again, why not? They see what's happening in the real world, and they've got the numbers to evaluate trends in at least the food lane and what people are ordering, how much they're ordering. It tells a lot about the state of our economy. The numbers, by the way, according to DoorDash, are really pretty damn good. Yesterday, they delivered their first official report on economic trends from DoorDash. Yeah. First ever State of Local Commerce report built from hundreds of millions of real transactions across groceries, restaurants, and Main Street businesses. Captures what actually is happening in thousands of neighborhoods across America rather than depending on traditional surveys or samples that you only get to see the results of months down the road. What they're seeing, quite simply, is that things are getting better. And the dog days of Bidenflation are pretty much going slowly away into the rearview mirror. Prices for everyday essentials and breakfast staples falling or flat, with DoorDash Breakfast Basics Index down 14% from March and September 2025. That's not bad. Downtown seeing momentous return to recovery. Weekday lunch orders from business districts up more than 50%. Of cities nationally, Chandler, Arizona, and San Francisco, California seeing the rebound highest with increases more than 6 times the national rate. Works for me. That's insane. There's one sign of strength in local economies. Consumers are stretching their dollars further, and Main Street is providing resilience. The White House took note of this report, posted a statement on their official website, said Trump's bold economic agenda delivering real results for American families, and the new data from DoorDash's State of Local Commerce report confirms that inflation's been tamed, everyday prices beginning to drop, and wages are growing. From breakfast tables to store shelves, Trump's agenda lowering this is from the Post on the White House. Trump's where families need it most, fueling an economic comeback, only just the beginning as we work to make America affordable again. Wow. The ramifications and the pain caused by the Schumer shutdown. Still, we don't know exactly how bad it is going to get, because while it may be over, the backlash ain't. But this much we do know: the Democrats' pointless theater of the absurd showed an economy that had been booming under Trump. Now, hopefully this leftists will get their act together this week, finally vote to end the damn thing. They will have accomplished absolutely nothing, squat all nothing with their idiotic antics. And we can get back to growing the Trump economy. Wouldn't that be nice? And according to DoorDash, at least, things are looking good. How about that? You never thought you would get an economics lesson from DoorDash, but there you go. Unbelievable. Des Moines, Iowa is where we're headed next, where they have managed to prove you can't fix stupid. Incumbents, listen to this, were re-elected to the same school board that hired an illegal immigrant convict to serve as the superintendent. As the saying goes, you just can't fix stupid. He had a cupboard full of old man sayings, but that one remains one of my absolute favorites. You can't fix stupid. And that certainly applies to the blue states and the blue cities that just elected, or actually re-elected, far-left politicians, which led them deeper into the promised land of absolute cut-and-dried failure. Apparently, these voters said, we don't have enough crime or homelessness or poverty and misery. So let's throw some gas on the dumpster fire and we'll just see what happens. You can actually almost hear them saying that. If anything, Tuesday's elections underscored the left's complete disinterest in being accountable for anything, at least when it comes to their candidates. The Democrats in Des Moines. Voters in Iowa's capital city rewarded the people who hired an illegal immigrant with a long rap sheet to serve as their school district's superintendent. They hired this guy. Incumbents Maria Alonso and Skylar Mayberry Mays re-elected to 4-year terms for Tuesday's school board election. These are the same idiots that decided to hire this illegal immigrant with a long rap sheet of criminal activity as their superintendent. And by the way, they ran unopposed. You're just not trying. The incumbents, part of the 7-member board, which unanimously decided to hire DEI candidate Ian Roberts as superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools. And then in late September, the board members apparently were surprised. Clutch my pearls, imagine my shock. Surprised to learn that the walking fraud they once gushed over was not only an illegal immigrant from Guyana, but he'd been in possession of a loaded handgun and $3,000 in cash when ICE apprehended him. This is the man they appointed as the superintendent in their school district. And then these morons were re-elected to the school board. What did I say? You just can't fix stupid. I don't think I need to comment. You know exactly what I'm going to say, and you're probably thinking the same thing yourself. Absolutely freaking nutso. Absolutely nutso. I love this story, and I cannot wait for this new series, by the way. The creator of Breaking Bad, Vince Gilligan, who is just one of my favorites. He has such a brilliant mind. If you never saw Breaking Bad, I feel very sorry for you. Maybe it seems like something you would not be interested in, but honestly, folks, you have got to watch that series. There's a number of different seasons. But man, other than The Wire, which is the all-time GOAT of series, I believe it was Netflix, although I could be wrong. But Breaking Bad, my friends, man, I'm telling you. Incredible. The creator of that series has gone on a very fiery rant and says AI is a bunch of horse it. Yeah, because I don't feel comfortable saying horseshit, so that's why I put the break in there. Anyway, he is not a card-carrying member of the AI fan club. In fact, he made that very, very clear in a recent interview. Not a lot of creative professionals are on this whole AI bandwagon. And for good reason. When somebody uses AI to write a novel or write a screenplay, they're really just plagiarizing the high-tech disguise. After all, AI does not think for itself, so it doesn't have a soul. It cannot truly capture the human experience that goes into telling a good story. Maybe one day, but not right now. Artificial intelligence came up during the interview with Gilligan's new series, Pluribus, which, by the way, while it is vastly different from Breaking Bad, the trailer looks amazing. I cannot wait. I don't subscribe to wherever this thing is being, because I don't do the cable thing. Any TV I get comes from online. I have no cable, no nothing, no satellite dish. So I don't know how I'm going to wind up watching this, but it looks amazing. It is a very big departure from Breaking Bad, like I said, and Better Call Saul, the other one, the spin-off from Breaking Bad. The show fits right into his X-File roots. Oh, yeah, he's the guy with X-Files, too, so you can tell where his brain's at. And during this interview, Gilligan I thought it was Gillihan, but it says Gilligan. Anyway, he didn't hold back. He shredded AI to pieces. He said, I hate AI. AI is the world's most expensive and energy-intensive plagiarism machine. And I think there's a high possibility that all this is a bunch of horseshit. It's basically a bunch of centibillionaires whose greatest life goal was to become the world's first trillionaires. They're selling us a bag of vapor. Oof. What concerns him is how AI might revive the database over slavery, especially if by some bizarre twist AI ever develops sentience, becomes self-aware. Personally, without a soul, I'm not sure that's possible. Even if it could think, all it really would wind up doing is just remixing data and ideas that already exist. It's just reshuffling them. In other words, stealing other people's work, drawing rather predictable conclusions. It would feel like genuine emotion, but genuine emotion requires a soul. And if you don't have one, I don't care how sentient you are, it's not the same. He says if they ever achieve that, then we'll have to bring the slavery debate back to the forefront. These trillionaires are going to want to make money off something that is now conscious. Is it a slave then? And at that point, it's a truly sentient being, and these Silicon Valley a-holes will monetize it against their own will, right? He calls AI-generated art a diet of crap. Man, he really doesn't like AI. Unbelievable. Danny says, I keep hearing Breaking Bad. It's hard to get time to binge a series, but everyone talks about how great it is. I need to get Danny, come on. Come on. Seriously, you never saw Breaking Bad. Please do me a favor, though. Start at Season 1, Episode 1, and don't cheat and work your way through. It's going to take some time. There are a lot of seasons. Matter of fact, let me do you a favor right now and take a look at how many seasons there were, because there were, 5 seasons, 62 episodes. Wow, that's a lot. Trust me, though. The Wire, number 1. Breaking Bad, number 2. Either one of them, but Breaking Bad, you gotta watch. You gotta watch. Hey, this story comes from where I live. Weirdly enough, I know, but this is really strange. November 10th, so just yesterday, a viral video of, we have a chain of coffee here like Starbucks, which is called Zeus, Z-U-S. And we have outlets all across Malaysia, and it's apparently captured a heated dispute between a customer who is believed to be a mainland Chinese tourist, not the most friendliest people on the planet, and a barista complaining, the customer complaining about a long wait time, which prompted the employee, the customer threw a hot beverage at the employee. Then the employee threw the empty cup back at the customer. Zeus quickly issued a statement affirming support for the barista, denying rumors she'd been terminated. She had not. And announcing an internal investigation while emphasizing a zero-tolerance policy for abuse. This whole story is going insanely viral, folks. People are talking about it around the world. Anyway, this is in Mandarin, but at least you can see the video that happened at the Zeus coffee outlet. You see there the Zeus coffee. And here's the very short little piece of video about what happened. And then it goes on in Mandarin, and it's translated into Bahasa Malaysia at the bottom. So neither one of those is going to do you any good. But just know the fact that it's going on. Zeus Coffee, thankfully, is behind their employee, and the idiot Chinese tourist who tossed hot coffee at the employee, I assume, didn't get another cup. Unbelievable. Do we have... Oh, we do. A federal appeals court has told a school district, I love this, that it cannot coerce preferred pronoun use. I'm a woman. You have to call me she, he, she, her. I go by they, them pronouns, and you have to use them. Well, guess what, morons? No, we don't. And now, a 112-page decision makes that very clear, how far the school district and those with similar policies are able to go in doing the political work of advancing gender ideology. They, them, shut the up. Students cannot be forced to use the preferred pronouns when referring to others who claim to be transgender. Why? Because it violates the First Amendment, moron. U.S. Court of Appeals, Sixth Circuit. Ohio's Olentangy Local School District cannot wield their authority to compel speech or demand silence from their citizens who disagree with the regulator's politically controversial preference new form of grammar. Man, that's a lot of words in this decision, which basically says you can't tell me what to say or do. American history tradition uphold the majority's decision to strike down the school's pronoun policy, according to the court. Over hundreds of years, grammar has developed in America without governmental interference. Consistent with our historical tradition and our cherished First Amendment, the pronoun debate must be won through individual persuasion, not government coercion. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Finally, a court has a sense has common sense. The lawsuit was originally filed by Defending Education, which is a group called DE, back in 2023. They argued the school district's anti-harassment policy compelled students to affirm beliefs about sex and gender and all that other bull crap. You have to call me they, them. I'm obviously a man, but you have to call me she, her. No, we don't. Said students didn't want to be forced into using their preferred pronouns. They were risk being punished by the school if they failed to do that. But not anymore, because the court said, sorry, First Amendment, you can't do that. We're winning. We are winning again, some more. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Where are we? We're over here. Okay. All right. I got one more for you, then we get the hell out of here. Because I'm tired. I know, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. A very long time ago, many, many years, when I was living in Key West, Lenny Alonzo had chihuahuas, and they had a litter of little baby puppy chihuahuas. You know chihuahuas, the little teeny tiny dogs. Well, we adopted one from him, and this little chihuahua baby, she was not only small because she was a chihuahua, but she was the runt of the litter. I got pictures somewhere. I should have looked them up to show them to you. Anyway, we called her Sisi, S-I-S-I, as in yes, yes in Spanish. Sisi. Sisi was amazing. And we had two other medium dogs, but little Sisi, who was a runt chihuahua, like about this big, she ran the house. She didn't put up with any shit from anybody, including me. How many times I went to jump into bed and she would come after me. She was a holy terror on wheels. They are annoying. They're little, we call them ankle biter dogs. And she was every bit of that. Sadly, she passed about maybe 10 years ago or so. This was a long time ago, 10, 20 years ago. But she was absolutely just the love of our lives. She was an amazing dog. They can be, however, a little annoying. And when that happens, there's usually only one way to deal with them. And I got the perfect example of that.
You put him in the bucket.
That's how you deal with a chihuahua. Pick him up, put him in the bucket. Thanks, friends. Thanks for popping by. We appreciate you being here. Hit that follow button and the like button, the thumbs up. We appreciate that, too. It lets the algorithm know we're out here, and they pump us out to show other folks who may not follow the show that we're here, which is why it's important. You can hear our podcasts across all podcast platforms. Be sure and check us out over there. And we do have a YouTube channel. Yep, it's called The Jay Sheldon Show. We are not live there, and hopefully if Rumble gets his ass together and fixes things, which slowly they are doing, we will never be live on YouTube unless we get forced into it. But we do have a replay of our show. You'll find it over there. Even if you don't watch us over there, do me a favor, head over and subscribe. The numbers help us out. And finally, locals. Oh, yeah. Subscription-based costs you about $5 a month, which is almost nothing. All of that money goes exclusively to help fund this show and to put us on the air. The little red button on Rumble down here says join. That'll get you over to for locals. And if you're on Twitter watching us live or on the replay, in the show notes there it says join our locals channel. Pop over there, sign up. It's easy to do, and we really appreciate the support and the help. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. Tuesday's done. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we will be back tomorrow for the Wednesday edition of the Jay Sheldon Show.